Well, it's my favorite. It's my favorite night of the week. It's spitball time. I love doing the spitballs. Traditional. It's traditional, and we're nothing but traditional here. Don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Um,
It's
we're
very,
going to
it's very Fiddler on the Roof.
yeah.
Tradition,
That's right.
tradition.
You do a good Topol.
Topol.
Would you like to throw first, my friend?
Sure, let's do it. Oh, I haven't seen or thought about this movie in a while. Do you remember? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was in the 90s, but it could have been the early 2000s. Do you remember DOA, the Corey Yuen movie based on the volleyball game?
Yeah, I do.
It's like a martial arts movie wrapped up with a volleyball kind of theme to it, with Holly Valance and was it Sarah? What was her name? Sarah.
I had that
Whatever her name
on
is.
DVD. I don't think I still own it because
Right.
it came around. Also, wasn't there like a fairly prominent director behind that one?
Well, it's Corey Yuen, who I think
Oh,
he directed a bunch of stuff under other names as well. But he was always like he was like the martial arts choreographer on everything. I think even
so
from
I thought it was like Chaos or one of those directors.
no Chaos. I can't remember, is Chaos in it? No,
No, not the rapper Chaos, the director that did X versus Sever and all that.
Yeah, no, definitely not him. This is a far,
No.
far superior film to Ballistic X versus Sever. Which I convinced a friend of mine, Anthony, to go, because we worked at two different video stores. I worked at Total Video, which is down the bottom of High Street in Ashwood, and he worked at Video Flash, which was at the top of High Street in Ashburton. And we would both finish at 10 o'clock, and I would drive from Total Video to Video Flash, pick him up, and we would race to the Jam Factory in Melbourne, to Village Cinemas there, and catch whatever the 10:30 movie was, because we knew we had about 20 minutes
Awesome.
of previews and stuff, and we could just get in.
Yep.
And I convinced him one night that we should go and see Ballistic X versus Sever, because we'd heard nothing. Like, usually when a movie comes out that's bad, you hear a lot of negative reviews. We had heard nothing about it. And so I used the rationale that if we've heard nothing, maybe it's not that bad. Boy, was I wrong.
Look, it is a terrible film, but it will come as no surprise to you and most people watching that I enjoy it.
You love it?
I don't love it, but I enjoy it.
I don't remember anything about it other than Lucy Liu and Antonio Banderas are in it.
I just miss the fact that those movies don't go to the cinemas anymore.
And I mean, you know where I was on September 11? I was at the cinemas watching Desert Vampires, Forsaken Desert Vampires, with Jonathan Shea and Isabella Miko. And that certainly did not deserve a theatrical run in Australia.
Well, hang on a second, mate. That I do have on DVD, and I miss watching that kind of dreck at the cinema. Same goes with like Dracula 2000.
Oh, I love Dracula 2000.
But that
Vitamin C.
You know what I mean? That caliber of film. Darkness Falls was another one. That caliber of film that went to the cinemas. I miss going to watch them.
I mean, they still happen. Did you see Superfly last year? Did you see
the hair in that one? My goodness,
that was some amazing hair.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to throw a spitball.
But yeah, they still do movies. Like, I mean, some reviewers would argue that Underwater is one such a film, though I thought Underwater was one of the better underwater films ever made. But it did not, fare well in the critics' eyes. Yes. But I think there still is a case to be made that those movies still do get out. Like, I mean, it's a miracle that the Marvel movies are good, because if they were mediocre, which I don't want to guess that how much you like or hate them. I'm positive you would love the Marvel movies if they were universally hated.
I hate the Marvel movies. I'm on record many a times.
but I'm sure, but that's because they're monumental successes. If it was the other way around, if they were terrible films that got a week at the cinema and then were thrown straight to home entertainment, you would be championing them, going, I don't think they're that bad. They're pretty good.
Have a listen to this guy. Thinks he's got me worked out. Couldn't be further from the truth.
I would be very interested. You're like you're like one of those the film critics who criticized Star Wars when it first came out, and then had to retcon their criticism when it became a phenomenon. But, no, actually, Star Wars is an excellent film.
For the record, Ben Helwig has never read a single review of mine. Clearly, he has got me wrong.
No, I've read enough. I've read enough of your reviews. I don't think so. I mean, look, you know, there's taking films for what they're worth. But I think what my point is that those Marvel movies, you know, had they not been phenomenally successful, I think they are that kind of dreck that you're talking about. They are that kind of caliber of film. They just happen to have. They just happened.
They are not. They are big budget films. I am talking about low budget films that are B movies.
But those movies, Desert Vampires and stuff, aren't like. I mean, they're not
very low budget films.
In comparison to the Avengers, they are, but there's still a couple of. They're not low budget films compared to Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Like, you know, their budgets would have been, you know, 3 or 4 times that. Like they're still probably sitting in the $5 to $10 million range.
That's very low budget
in comparison to any of the Australian films that you like. No, it's not. It's only in comparison to.
But they don't go to the cinemas either.
They did at the time.
Yeah, but we're not talking about at the time. I'm talking about now and how I missed them.
Yeah, but yeah, but it's also, are they being made? They're not making $10 million movies anymore. They're only making they're not making $50 million movies anymore.
No, they are, and they're going straight to platforms. I'm talking about theatrical, and they're not going there anymore. And I missed that.
But the studios aren't really making those films that are going. They're being made. They're independent films that are doing that. Whereas Desert Vampires and stuff is like studio films.
But it doesn't matter who's making them. My point being, and this is fucking retarded, is that these type of films are not going to the cinemas, regardless of studio or independent. These small films that have very little budgets but are high in concept and very genre orientated are not going to the cinemas anymore.
And once again, I'll draw your attention to Superfly, which got a theatrical release. I mean, I don't know what.
It's not even close to the type of film I'm talking about.
That's low budget. That's high concept. That is a remake of a blaxploitation fucking film, for Christ's sakes.
You're misreading this conversation.
I don't think so.
No, I think you are, because I don't like films like Superfly. So, personally speaking,
why don't you like films like Superfly?
I don't like blaxploitation films.
Any of them?
Most, no.
But the genre of it is irrelevant as to the budget level and the type of film. Like you can not like Forsaken Desert Vampires. Doesn't mean that it's any less of what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, and well, let's move on to the next. I've already thrown my spitball like 10 minutes ago while you're still talking. And it landed on Firewalker.
Firewalker?
Chuck Norris.
Oh, fucking hell. The Blu-ray?
The DVD. It's an imported one that I've got in Spanish called El Tempo del Oro.
Right. It would have to be, because the local Blu-ray of that has to be the worst transfer on Blu-ray I've ever seen. Like, it is worse than a VHS up-res. Like, it loses color. It almost goes black and white in parts. It is outrageous.
Yeah, there we go. Look, it's
zero quality control.
Not a great film by any means.
It does have Lou Gossett Jr. in it.
It sure does. I remember purchasing this one because I had fond memories of it from when I was a kid, and it's not one that held up whatsoever when I got it.
It is. Mark Hartley has recently on Facebook been posting a series of posters of where he says that the poster art, the film is not deserving of its amazing poster art, and
Yeah.
one of them was Firewalker, and that's one of the few that I agree with.
I was going to say that's I've loved watching his posts because they are great posters, but I've also loved watching the disagreements people are having with the pairings.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Firewalkers. It's an average film. I much prefer the like the Alan Quatermain films that Richard Chamberlain did. They're not great either, but they're a lot more fun.
What about the Alan Quatermain films that Patrick Swayze did? And he did one
I
of them.
did have those that as well. What was no? Because I used to confuse that with the Jack Hunter films that they did.
Oh, Jack Hunt. Isn't that with the guy from
It's
is it like Ivan Sergey or something? Is that Jack
no,
Hunter?
it's a trilogy of Indiana Jones ripoffs.
Yeah. And they were like the stopgap between the Librarian series.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which came along, which were great.
Yep.
I mean, you know, I like, if you love Noah Wyle, if you're a big ER fan, then you'll love the Librarian series.
Plus the TV series. Your turn.
Okay. Oh, okay. So that hit one. I only just recently picked this up on VHS. Do you remember? You would have seen it in the video store when you were a kid. Shogun Assassin.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Which was basically, which I didn't realize it at the time. It is an amalgamation of Lone Wolf and Cub, the first Lone Wolf and Cub movie and the second Lone Wolf and Cub movie. And it was bought by this American producer. He bought the rights to the Japanese ones. And prior to this, he had done like low budget porn films. That's what he was a producer of. And he bought the rights, he merged them into one, called it Shogun Assassin, and released it onto an unsuspecting American public. And it is a phenomenal. Like, I actually prefer it to the full original two Lone Wolf and Cub films. Super violent, kind of super action filled. A lot of stuff filmed in reverse.
Yeah.
You know, classics.
Excellent. Well, I just threw mine, and it landed on a TV series, which I actually don't usually keep TV shows in my collection here, but it leads to a film. It was the Police Squad DVDs with Leslie Nielsen, which obviously is the origins of Naked Gun. So we can, I guess, talk about Naked Gun. Great film.
Sure.
Great film. I think probably not necessary to have a trilogy out of it, but that first one, it just hits all the right spots. Are you a fan?
I would say so. Actually, funnily enough, I think I like the third one the most.
Oh, really? And that's not even directed by what's his name, Zucker?
By the Zucker brother, no. But it had Anna Nicole Smith in it, which I remember, and it had the great line. What was it? I like my women like I like my basketball, with as little dribbling as possible. Which was a classic.
I don't know. I think, you know what? It's possibly with the quality of the first one feels like it was shot on film, whereas the other ones feel a bit more video-esque, you know. They don't have that same rawness to them that the first one does. It feels very cinematic, the original.
I mean, I watched them all on video. I didn't see any of them at the cinema.
No, but so you know what I mean? Like,
they're all 4:3.
If you still watch them in 4:3, the first one at least feels almost cinematic. Like, it has a much better production value than the other two. But I like number 1 and 2 a lot. Number 3 is good, but yeah.
Isn't number 3 number 3 is also the one where O.J. Simpson gets kind of attacked right at the start, and then at the end of it, Priscilla Presley has a baby, and it's supposed to be Frank Drebin's baby, but he goes into the wrong room, and the baby that comes out is black.
Is that the third one?
He goes after O.J. Simpson. Is that the third one?
Good question, because I know O.J. Simpson is like attacked at the start of the first film, and he's in hospital for the whole film.
Nice. Maybe that's the first one.
I don't remember the baby scene. I remember the scene, but I don't remember attaching it to a particular.
It's just the end, because at the end, the last line of the film is like Nordberg, or whatever his name is. One. But
you're frozen.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's frozen. You're frozen.
You've just frozen. Have I frozen? Are you frozen? Are you off watching Desert Vampires?
text you, mate.
Boom. I am the host now.
Well, clearly the Marvel franchise gods have spoken. And we've been cut off. We've both had really shitty internet connection for this recording, and I think it was mine that got in the way, and it's cut us off completely. So we're going to wrap things up there. That was a fun conversation. I have a funny feeling we're going to return to that sometime in the near future. But anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on Monday morning for another episode of Good Movie Monday. Ciao.